What's up, y'all? I'm Xavier Stone. Today we're talking about the album. The album I just released is called Rest in Peace. The deluxe is about to come out. Deluxe is called RIP. So it's the same thing. It's just two different kind of bodies of work. I'm excited because the deluxe is, I feel like my albums do that. They kind of bounce off each other. And it'll either be all one project that you can listen to all together, and then they all kind of stand alone on their own too. So the name of the album is Rest in Peace, RIP, and today we're talking all about it. So let's get into it. The name kind of goes, in hand with what the theme of the album is. I think a lot of people might think that when you hear the name, you're thinking it's like a sad album. It's like maybe gonna be like sad and like dark or something. But to be honest, like the album didn't really start or form like with those kind of vibes. Like it was really more like a celebrational, like rest in peace to like whatever it is you was doing, and like now you're doing like the next thing. It's like just like progression kind of. So there's moments where, yeah, like, in that transformation of like moving on to the next thing, like some things obviously have to rest in peace. Like you got to put some things to sleep or whatever. And like some of that can feel good to like put that aside and then move on to the next thing. It can feel good letting go of like baggage, letting go of like trauma, letting go of whatever it is you're going through and like breaking through to the next thing. And that's what this whole album's pretty much about. It's like, it's not like about me dying or like nothing like that. It's about like just transforming, and like the old me maybe is like slowly fading away, and like this, grown and like just like better mindset on life, and just like clarity going forward, when you're coming up and trying to figure out life and figure out what it is you're gonna do and how you're about to approach things, like, you kind of just like go through a lot. But then once you break through those moments and you have a clarity and you have a sense of like who you are and what you wanna do and what you wanna be, that's an exciting moment. So that's kind of what this whole album is. It's like more of a celebration on like the old habits, the toxicity, whatever it may be, like all that shit dying and you breaking through and going on to the next life, the next thing. So some songs have an expression of like, damn, like it's almost bittersweet, like damn, I might miss some of those things, but moving forward, the things I'm gonna do now are serving my purpose like fully, wholly, because I know, like I'm clear on that. I know that now. My experiences have molded me to move into this next chapter and like go at it with the right mindset that I might not have had before. So it's more that, people, I think when we were doing the artwork, it was funny. I think we could talk about the artwork too, because that's something that I think drew people in. It kind of has a shock factor. The name and the title, when you look at it, it's like obviously implying like who's in that coffin. Like, we all gonna face that one day. So it's no problem to like just like be able to like know that and be willing and accepting of it when the time happens, because that shit is inevitable. But the album artwork, it's so special because we went through a few different stages with it. At first, we was like, is it an open? Like, is this like the viewing? Like, do you see me? Or is it like, we went through a few different things. Like, we didn't want to have it be too shocking. So we just went with like this closed casket, like not because anything happened, but just like, it's just, you don't need to see, it's not implying that like it's me or anything. It's like what's in there is just like the past, and then like it's something new now. So I love the artwork. Shout out to Terrell Poole for working on that with me, and going through the different variations of it and us coming to what it is now. And then the original album has the white backdrop, and then the deluxe version has the dark one. And if you look at my previous albums, you see that theme with the different colors on the artwork. So just continuing that and making it all connect. So yeah, like when I decided that this was gonna be the name of the album, it stemmed from me making a few tracks first. I think I made Russian Roulette. I think I made, starting to forget the order, but I know Russian Roulette was like one of the first songs I made. Sometimes I feel that way, like, you know, like I'm not figuring things out, but and then at the same time, you know, like you feel like when you break through those moments, like you willed yourself through something. And that's kind of what the whole album's about, is like, you know, willing through the tough times and breaking through to be better. So I don't remember exactly when I thought of the name of the album. I don't know, yeah, I can't think of when I thought of the name, because it ties into like why, you know, because once you make the first or second record and then you tell yourself you're making an album, everything will now start to like fall under this like theme and like this idea of like a general body of work. So it was like I made Russian Roulette, and another track, I can't remember which one. I think Small Town. I think it was Small Town maybe. And then I was like, yeah, I'm making an album. And then just the way that the songs were sounding, it's like, damn, like after you make like 2 records, you're hype. You're like, I could do something that feeds off of these 2 tracks, and like then it's gonna be complete. It took me probably like 3 months to make this album. Like this is the fastest I think I've ever made an album. A big part of it's like having the stew at my spot now, like being able to just like work fast, quick, get songs done, open up the session again, work on it a little bit more, tweak it. That was a big part of like me being able to make the album so fast. It's not even like I was trying to make it fast. It's just like that's just how my mind was moving. But each song, it's like I wasn't worried too much about production. I had different producers work with me, so I didn't have to worry about the beats too much. It was just more about like, what am I gonna say? How's the track list gonna flow? Because I think that all that's important. You know, I want an album to have an intro, you know, some features, some slow, like maybe interlude vibes, and then, you know, pick back up. Like I want it to kind of vibe like a movie, you know, intro, rising action, climax, resolution, all, you know, like that's how I feel like it should be. So once I made the first 2 tracks, I started to kind of work out of order. I was like, okay, now I need an intro, like now I need an outro, now I need like something in the middle, like I need a like fast song. Like you start to kind of piece it together. But that was kind of the process. And like every song, man, like I don't be like writing, like I don't like find a beat and then like write. Like I've switched to like, it's just because I've seen people do this. Like I've seen an artist I worked with, shout out to 808. 808, I witnessed him really in the studio freestyle. And I saw how he did it, and I was like, okay, damn, like, I've heard of other artists do this. You know, you hear of like Jay-Z freestyling, and I see, you know, like Lil Wayne, they talk about Wayne's freestyling, and I never knew how they did it, but after I saw 808 do it, and we worked on a lot of music together, I was like, damn, okay, like, that's how you do it. Like, So for me now, I go into the studio, I throw on my headphones, like, and I've got to write the song right there with the beat playing, like. So I might open up my notes, but I need to be able to hear myself in the headphones to even like hear how my voice sounds before I write anything, like. So I gotta be there in the stew first, and that's how all these songs are made, like right there. Like I wrote them right there, like found the beats or whatever, chose the beats, and then set up the session and like wrote them right there. So I like the pace of how this album moves. Like my other albums weren't really done like that. My other albums were really like written out, and then I go to the studio and like do it, which is good. Like that's a good way to work. It's just I like working off live momentum. I like working off of like, yo, we in this moment right now. Like this is like exactly what I'm thinking right now. And because I didn't had a lot of sessions where I went in there and I have some shit all written up and I'm like, yeah, you know, but then I'm hearing it in the headphones and my voice ain't matching up to the beat and it's not coming out how I wrote it. So I eventually saw all these artists like freestyle, and like I'm wondering like how they do that. And then like after having a few experiences of me not being able to like put what I had down into the studio, I just switched to like, yo, let me just cook like right there so that I can know it's hot, like, and that it fits in that moment right there. So that's how all these songs were made on the side A. Side B, the whole theme of the deluxe album is that it's all songs that were produced either by me or our team. So pretty much all produced by like our team and I. Guys that, and these are kind of some older beats. I haven't been in my producer bag as much. I think the last beat I made was actually on side A. I did Cool With It with Chemistry and Jawan, and I did Studio Scripture, the outro. So I did those ones. Those are like last year, maybe I made those beats. But I haven't been like making beats recently. So the deluxe album has an interesting twist to it because it's its own album, but it's the deluxe album. It's side B to an existing album. But it can be its own thing because what we did was we took beats that we made like 6, 7 years ago, maybe even like 8 years ago, and we are using them now and rewriting to them and making songs out of them. These have been beats that were sitting on my folder for like years. I just never felt like comfortable enough to like use them, or like had an idea to use them, or like a direction. But after side A came out 2 months ago in September, I've just been listening to it, and I was like, I like everything we did. How can I make it more of like myself? You know, how can I make it sound even more like myself? And now it's some of these songs are fully produced, like songs by me, from the beats to the vocals to the recording to everything. And I'm not saying that in a way to say like, oh, like I'm wearing all the hats. Like I'm not saying it to say that. I'm saying it more in the sense that like what you guys are hearing is fully me. Like that's exactly what I wanted to make, from the beat to what the lyrics are to how it sounds. I might not still be, you know, not every song was recorded in a studio like this. So obviously I'm not all the way to where I want to be as far as how it sounds. But what you guys are getting on this deluxe album is shit that like just spawned from like nothing. And like it's exactly what I want y'all to hear from me. So that's the reason I'm saying that, is because like I'm so happy that y'all are getting like true fucking original ass like thoughts and ideas. So the process is lit, man. We could talk about that all day, man. We could talk about the process and how these songs come about. I think that that's so interesting. I'm always about some behind the scenes shit and some like, oh, that happened when y'all were doing that? Like, damn, okay, like y'all had to do this to make that work? Like, I like hearing all that kind of stuff, and sometimes it's like more simple than you thought, sometimes it's complicated, but this album wasn't too tricky. It was just like, let's make something that hits the soul, has a strong theme, and is like optimistic about it. You know, like it's not going. This album doesn't leave you feeling shitty at all, like about anything. It's like, damn, okay, maybe I do want to open up about that. Maybe I do want to like explore that, or like shit, yeah, maybe I should like lock in. Like that's all this album's gonna do for you. It's not gonna like leave you feeling any other kind of way. Yeah, talking about the track list, it's the track list was fun to kind of make. Once you get done recording, like once I felt like I was done recording enough songs, you start formatting the track list. And I would go every day, throw my AirPods in, export down file, you know, get the files for the songs, go in the car, or like, you know, get my AirPods in, and then like listen to the album. And I'm listening to my album like before anybody else can. I'm like hearing what fits in there, what doesn't, how many songs should it be, whatnot. That's always like a tricky part, because like you start to get like overly critical about like what's going on. And that actually brings me to a great point that I wanted to talk about, because I saw this TikTok about Quincy Jones, rest in peace, one of the greatest in the music industry. Quincy was talking about, this was a TikTok, they were talking about Quincy and Michael Jackson, and they were making, I want to say either, I think it was Beat It or Thriller. I want to say Beat It. The engineer and Michael are in there working in a studio like this or whatever, they're working, and Quincy walks in and he's like, okay, we need, like, is the song done? And the engineer is like, oh, you know, we're working on mix 270 something. And it's like, Quincy looks at him and says, play mix 2. And the engineer plays mix 2. And Quincy's like, all right, like, give me that one, that's the one. I was like, damn. Because that's what I mean about, you spend so much time shuffling and working on a song sometimes that you start to get overcritical. Like, you start to maybe like do too much. I feel like that was funny because Quincy was basically saying, okay, the first one you weren't satisfied with. The second time you touched it, that was good. 200 whatever, like, that's a lot, bro. Like, we good. Let's wrap it up. We good, man. Don't gotta think about it too much. So I really like that, and that's really how, like, in retrospect, seeing how I worked on the album, that's kind of how my vibe was. Like, I was like, yo, like, I've got the studio, like, I'm just gonna work, like, I'm just gonna have fun. Each song, each session, all I wanna do is have fun, say some shit, sing, harmonize, fucking put some melodies down, and like, boom, you know? And that's how kind of the whole album flowed. I get more critical when it gets in that track listing phase of like, okay, now we have to, what's the intro? What's the song that follows this one? That song was up tempo. Do you follow that one with a like slow one now, or do you like keep it slow? Am I falling asleep listening to this album? Like, you start to think about all that kind of stuff, and that's, a hard part of formatting a project, a full body of work, something that people like listen from like track 1 through this one has 19. The deluxe, I think I've settled on like 7 tracks, I think 6 or 7. So it's not like a full length album, but like the production, it definitely like vibes out like it's its own album. So yeah, track list was cool, man. Like, it's just it can get tricky at what you want to put in, what you want to take out. 19 songs was a lot. I think it runs for like 50 minutes. So, you know, I wanted to put out something that feels like a short film, you know, cinematic. And I think the music did that. I think it feels that way. The album's been out now. Right now it's November. We're about a week away from Thanksgiving. I'm planning on dropping that deluxe album. If I can get it in here by November, it might be in December. The side A came out in September. So it's been out for like 2 months, and I've loved the responses. I've loved the vibes, man. Like, just this album, you know, me explaining like my process to you guys and like how I used to do things in the past and how now I'm able to go in and just like, you know, really craft exactly what's on my mind in that moment. That's kind of what I'm gravitating more towards. Sometimes I feel like I need to slow down a little bit when it comes to recording. Because, you know, you can just, if you're on a roll, you can go on a roll. Like, I don't feel like I have writer's block. I have more of like producer block than anything. So, you know, because I'm picky about sounds and what I'm gonna sound good on and what I want people to like resonate with, like the sound that I want people to like associate me with. This album was also special too. I think a lot of people don't realize that I have music that's all over streaming services, Apple Music and Spotify, albums, original music. And then I also have a lot of mixtape music. The mixtape music has really like kept me going. I'll really say that. When I mentioned 808 earlier, shout out to 808, man. He moved to Atlanta, so like I don't get to work with him so much no more. I'm gonna have to still link with him. But he did my first few mixtapes for me. Like, I want to say my first one in 2021. We worked on 2020. I think we did 2020, and then we even did 2021. I think he might have done 2 mixtapes, maybe even 3. We did a whole lot of music together, man. And I always appreciated like what he was able to get out of me. And then like when I had to go on my own and like start making music, you know, I made music in a lot of different spaces, in this studio, in my place, at other people's places. So I just took all that knowledge from being in so many different studios and like got my own equipment and was like, okay, just piece it all together. I'll do the best that I can. And it's free flowing, it's spontaneous, and it's accessible. That's the biggest thing for me. It's like, boom, like there's no latency. I'm able to like put it out there exactly when I want to. And working on those mixtapes helped me break my writer's block. It helped me work on my pen, and it helped me just find more of like confidence that I could do I'm rapping like the mixtapes. The whole theme on these mixtapes is like I'm rapping on other people's shit. So it's like Lil Wayne, No Ceilings, Dedication, The Drought vibes. Like I'm rapping over anything that's like in circulation in the industry and shit that I like, and like just like I'm just having fun, man. And it's all over my YouTube and SoundCloud, and like seeing people's appreciation for that, it's been crazy. It's made me go at my own original music even harder and come at it with that same approach, like lighthearted, fun, but with substance and themes when I'm doing my actual shit. So it's just a great blend. I feel like this album, Rest in Peace, and a little bit of my album before this in 2020. It's been 4 years since I dropped the album. Like, that's crazy. It's a mixture of like my mixtape shit, but it's on an album. Like, that's why this album is so unique, is because like I did the albums in 2020, took a little bit of a break, did a ton of mixtape stuff, some originals, some singles, and then I came back and did this album with like all of that sprinkled in. And it just came out fire, man. So I really want to thank all the people who like have subscribed to my YouTube channel and like have supported those mixtapes, because it's really helped me to be able to make solid original albums for the streaming services and for my catalog. You know, that's like what really stands out. But I mean, a lot of people, you know, their mixtapes are what did it for them. You know, like I could name a million artists that we know a lot of their mixtape unreleased stuff. I feel like I'm one of those artists who my unreleased and like my released, it's like, it's a battle, man. I don't know, like, it's a battle. They both discographies go hand in hand, but like they're both like very, very influential on how like I've shaped my whole career in making music. So yeah, the deluxe has our production, it's got the mixtape vibes, it's got the theme from the album. To be honest, I don't know what's coming next after all this. I don't know how long it's going to be till I make another body of work for the services. I don't know. Like, this feels like riding off into the sunset. Like, this feels like, you know, Tom Brady, you won a championship and then you retire type shit. Like, Peyton Manning type shit. But that's, you know, that's just a thought. It would look cool, you know, rest in peace, and then there's no more albums after that or whatever. But man, like, I still want to keep working. I don't know how long it's going to be till I make my next album, but this one is special, and I definitely want to get back in my producer bag a little bit. That's why I did that for this deluxe half, side B. So we'll just see what comes next, y'all. I just appreciate everybody who's shown love and support, because, man, I love this music shit, man. Like, I love it. Like, since I was a kid, man, I've loved imitating, changing my voice, you know, like pretending, like, you know, throwing on outfits and like feeling like I'm this actor or this musician. Like, since I was a kid, man, I've just loved this whole world of just like, just being loose and being fun and using your voice and just like getting out there, man, and being expressive. So I hope everybody can find something like that for themselves and support one another to do things like that, because you don't want to bottle in all that energy, man. Like, you want to let that shit flow and like feel free and like comfortable in your own skin. So hopefully this album can inspire people to do that. Hopefully everything I'm doing gives people a little bit of a battery to do something like that too. And I'm inspired. Like, that's the whole reason that I do anything, is because I'm fucking inspired. So all the people that I've seen do awesome shit. So hopefully everybody keeps doing awesome shit, man. Album's out. Xavier Stone. Rest in peace. Thank y'all for watching, man. Love y'all, man. Thank you.